that we talked about earlier, summoning the spirit of Uzi. It worked for them in game number 1. Zhiqiuyi had a pretty heckin' game. We'll see if that summoning of the spirit can help them in game number 2 as well. We did get that Jace ban, the Annie ban, the Yuumi ban. They first picked the Ahri. On the other side, we have the Emilio, the Nico, and the Lucian, all those big focuses, but maybe right back to tried and true for JDG here. Aphelios first lock in.
Oh, they're slamming them. Jade a little upset with those bans. They're like, okay, with these picks, they're like, we are slamming these picks. We need to get what we want, and we know what we want to play. Kanavi does not want to take this loss. He looked angry up against RNG. They want to close this one out sooner rather than later. And it starts now for them. If they want to make that comeback, they need to be able to obviously win this game and go on, push us to a game 3. But we're pretty far away from that for right now. What is on his head?
They're cooling packs. You've never had one of those before? They're amazing.
No, of course not. I'm a caster.
Yes, I've used those before. They're awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They're really nice. They're very cold. They're like gel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Does he have one on his neck?
He has 2 right on his neck. I'm pretty sure they're only supposed to be for like your face. I guess not supposed to be. I guess they could, but you know, maybe looking at the new tech here
for safety
in terms of the cooling pads. Now we are finished with our first phase. We did get the lovers duo down there for Zhiqiuyi and Zorah and the Rakan and Xayah, but it was the Syndra locked in for Knight, a tried and true pick for him, but also jungle focus in the second phase for JDG. That Kha'Zix's off the table.
Yeah. You're already seeing it here. I love this for JDG. You already have a lane that you can play around with this, with this Syndra, something that they could look forward to. And they need to be looking for champions that are going to be able to get onto the immobile carries. Something like this Aphelios, something like this Syndra. So with the Vi already taken away, I think Wukong is definitely something that they could look for. I like the Nocturne takeaway, but Mazel, what champion did not get banned this time around?
There's a Scary Zeri.
Okay, that was not the champion I was looking for. I was thinking more along the lines of like a Lee Sin.
But I wanted Zeri, you know. I'm trying to get banned. I'm trying to get banned.
Okay, I'm gonna tell
I'm trying to get banned. Yeah, because we have our ADCs. I'm just trying to get banned. Okay. I will say before we get to the rest of the picks here, out of 54 games on Syndra, what do you think's Knight's win percentage?
74%.
I hate you. You looked at it, didn't you?
I didn't. Actually, I didn't check.
No? Nope. Okay, well, you're right on the money. 74% win rate.
Let's go. I unironically guessed that.
There's some cheating going on here. I don't know, chat. You gotta message Al. Figure out how he's cheating here.
I literally, that was a free ball. Like I took a
nice. Well, look at you, big brain. I love it. I love it. But as I want to dissect that big brain of yours a little bit more in this draft, we did get that Lee Sin that snuck through, made it through. The K'Sante, also a very heavy meta pick that made it through here for AL. And on the other side, the answer so far has been the Renata and now the Ornn.
Ooh, okay. They're going for more and more scaling on the side of JDG, saying level 6, we will have some answers. But they do have some aggressive looks. Specifically, we need to see Knight and Kanavi link up, feel more and more comfortable. And if we're going to be able to utilize that 74% win rate on the Syndra, you gotta start now. You have to be looking for plays. Kanavi with this Vi can get very easy kills, but it's not going to be, it should be the same for anyone's Legends. You look at that mid-jungle duo between Xiaohao and Harder, they can find picks just as easy as JDG.
They truly can, and I think Xiaohao will be fully unlocked on this Lee Sin. Big comfort for him, but also just gives him a lot of that early aggression and decision-making power. And they have really nice lanes to play around. A lot of mobility available from the solo lanes, and that was a key aspect coming into this one.
I'm looking forward to this because we have been talking about jungle every single day here in the LPL, and today is no different between them. We wanted to see more firepower out from the solo laners of JDG, and this time it feels that specifically Knight does have that available to him. But for ZDZ, getting away from the Gnar, now with this K'Sante, matchup for Ornn is incredibly difficult to play out.
Well, anyone's legend defied expectations in game number 1, but JDG have roared back to life with a very confident draft here in game 2. In their home arena, Beijing, Missing said he does not want to give any room for interviews for any team that comes and visits them. Well, it's time to put up or shut up and deny AL that here in game 2 because they have a very strong composition together. They have a lot of the meta picks that we have, but a lot of safety through bot lane as well. And the laning phase is going to be oh so important. We're looking at Kanavi, we're looking at Xiaohao, and how they bounce between these two solo lanes. And I'm looking to hear the Gyos ring loud and true for JDG, as hopefully we'll be loading in the Rift very shortly.
They need every bit of fan crowd sentiment. You need that crowd to be playing in your ears. And for players who have made it to multiple international events, for players who obviously have played in stadiums like this, they can kind of tap into that sixth man of the crowd. Give them a little bit more energy, play a little bit better. I always think back to the Knight interview where he's like, people might think, you know, whatever they want about me, but I've proven to myself that I'm a good enough player, and I am only going upwards. The challenges that I set for myself are more important than really whatever anybody else is going to be given to me.
And the big pieces that have been showing out so far are zhiqiuyi, the new LTL carry, risen up from Royal Club in the bottom lane of AL, and Harder, the newest addition, re-edition rather, for AL, who's been really popping off on those pop blossoms in this series. We finally hit the rift here, AL versus JDG.
So from the top, it looks like typical 5-point, nothing, no early shenanigans. Shout out to ZDZ and 369, they're just having fun. They know, as top laners, I'm glad that they're willing to have a little bit of a gentleman's agreement, that they're not just like hitting each other, because for 369, this matchup is incredibly hard. It's Q3 versus your ability to use your W, but for 369, this K'Sante can ult you in the middle of yours, so it's very difficult to get a second ult. And just the laning phase by itself, very difficult as an immobile tank. So looking forward to what can be happening there. I will say, Harder going for the spellbook here, saying I'm probably not going to be able to find much on Knight with just teleport, but wants to be able to dip into a few different spells. Cleanse can be important, and I think Exhaust could be something that changes the landscape of the game, as you can get right onto the backline of Ruler, or even stop Kanavi from doing a ton of damage.
See how that comes to bear a little bit later on. I was going to ask you who had the better dance moves between Ornn and K'Sante, but at this point I'm going to decide that it's Ornn because he's on Space Groove and we're going to move forward. I get to decide. Top lane starts, top side start though for Kanavi, and bottom side start for Xiaohao. We did see a little bit of proactivity in the jungle pathing from Xiaohao last time. I expect that to still be the case for the Lee Sin. I think you can be so very aggressive on this and find a lot of those early dividends.
Currently, right now, both junglers are on opposite sides of the map. We'll see what Xiaohao is doing, ending this part of the clear on the bottom side, which either could give him some flexibility, saying, if Vi is going to show up early on bottom lane, I can show up. But if this wave is going to get under the turret, they could look to blow some summoners away from JDG's bot lane.
Any advantage would be awesome down here because you are just able to play so safe on the Xayah Rakan. You can just kind of bear the brunt of a lot of that aggression. I do want to see how the Renata plays into it here, though, for Missing. I think it could be a key factor of the JDG to play around. We just see Harder actually pushing pretty heavily by this Syndra matchup against Knight.
He was dodging some of those Qs originally from Knight, but now that he has a few abilities, now that that stun has come out, he is just taking damage after damage. There is only a single corrupting pot left, so in terms of the sustain, that teleport from Harder is going to be coming out sooner rather than later. And instead of going for any bot side plays, Xiaohao has instead decided to go up towards that top side. Could look to destabilize around mid after his clear. Harder could try to put down some damage onto Knight, recall, teleport back in the lane, and look for something as he gets back into the lane.
There's going to need to be some attention paid by Xiaohao down this bot lane, though, as already a plate over to Ruler and feeling a lot better than the way the game number 1 started here for sure. They will continue to press this up, and they have Kanavi in the wing, so just able to hover that one as well. And they'll just keep pressing the 2v2 as Xiaohao maybe looks towards these solo lanes like we were highlighting.
Harder for right now, they're just fighting over the mid lane. Both junglers are finishing off on the scuttle, and they're both walking towards this mid lane. Charm missing, it's such a tough spot because without like an ignite or something from Harder, it means that you do lack a little bit some of that kill threat, especially with the summoner or the keystone that he has chosen. Kanavi sticking around mid lane, and he does not have a lot of mana, so he's trying to get down a little bit more gold so he can recall here. This wave is not fantastic.
Knockback comes through. Kanavi lands the connection on Xiaohao. Needs to be a bit careful. They were just trying to push in this wave, and it looks like they successfully did so. Harder. They need to get aiming on those charms going through, but it's still able to start off for AL defensive nature.
There we go. And with early vision as well, Kanavi could look for a invade. Knows that both mid laners should be going for a recall here, and typical fashion, Kanavi does get some of those chicken nuggies away from him. But the bot lane has to be so afraid right now, putting down vision to try to prevent this dive from happening. With the wave starting to crash, like you were saying, already a turret plate here for Ruler, and that gold is only going to get larger as we haven't seen a kill, but he has a cull compared to zhiqiuyi's longsword, and that means that he's going to be juicing every little bit of gold out of these minions as he can.
Noodle fight continuing in the top side too. 369 actually getting the better of ZDZ there. We see Kanavi up towards this top side hovering now, but something else that came to fruition, at least in the early parts for JDG, was buying a lot of time for themselves by taking early dragons. And I do wonder if AL kind of still set that momentum forward with the Rift Herald focus that they had so heavily prevalent in game number 1, but they don't have necessarily as much of that. Oh, we're already winning the game in 5 minutes. Let's have decision-making power around everything. So this is where some of those question marks start to come out.
It's more even than the way that we started the first game here, and Kanavi, by doing all of these camps up here, will end his clear at the bottom side for them to take this dragon. You already see that Zorah is actually moving in mid lane to see if maybe they can find something on tonight, over aggressing, getting really far up on Harder, who does have the ultimate. Both of the mid laners do have the ability to make some playmaking happening. Xiaohao actually going to the opposite side here, Lennon, as trying to end his clear on the top side, maybe set themselves up for that Rift Herald in 2 minutes.
I would actually really like a wraparound towards Knight. I think Knight will be a very big factor in this one. Obviously, you can put as much focus as you want on Ruler. We've seen how that ends up a lot of times, even though it worked out for them in game 1. Knight on the Syndra is still terrifying, and it's just a double threat composition for JDG that looks really, really good on paper. We also see them get that early dragon I was talking about earlier.
Moving into mid lane, it looks like they're not going to even allow Knight to get back into this wave unless going the far way. Okay, well, JDG just make out with a dragon and not much punishment from the side of anyone's Legends. No early action. Again, the longer this game goes, we do favor JDG with their composition.
Oh my God! Insect. Knight goes and flashes back, but the charm connects, and Knight goes down. First blood for AL. Give him that laughing poro, baby.
Beautiful vision from our observers there that shows Xiaohao with the flash kick to get Knight into an uncomfortable position. No teleport, no flash either on the Syndra. This is someone that they can revisit here. Zorah is going to hit level 6 soon. If Knight comes back to lane, expect another play around mid lane, and with the Rift Shield coming up as well, that is someone that they could look for free gold in the future.
I was literally just saying, if AL can focus Knight, that's huge, because he's one of the threats now in this composition. And they do just that. Xiaohao gets that first blood, and that just means this Lee Sin with the whip completed will be back on the map looking aggressive as ever. We do have to refocus, though. 15 seconds for a Rift Herald spawn that I think AL would want to contest here.
A good job from Zorah, being a good support as an AD carry is always more important to try to get this. Yeah, he just does not have vision.
Oh, man.
Nothing for him to do. Nothing for him to do
you
here.
dirty, dirty man. Oh, my God.
Beautiful. And again, it will set them up for this top side as Kanavi shadowing his top laner, saying this is a moment for him for maybe ZDZ to find me. I don't know if ZDZ actually saw him on the vision there. They're going to try and make this play now.
He does have a lot of mobility, but Kanavi cannot connect the distance. Doesn't want to get punished just in case Xiaohao was hovering, even though he wasn't. We do see the ping here onto the Rift Herald, though, from JDG.
Look at this already. Anyone's Legends instead focusing on the laning phase. Ruler by himself has both of his summoner spells. Zorah now ticking over to level 6. Instead, what they're going to do, they're going to get their recall in, and now the onus is kind of on anyone's legend. If they're not able to grab this Rift Herald, it's going to be gold going over to Ruler as he continues to farm up. And JDG, they already have the priority in mid lane. They're trying to get missing this level 6 so he can have that ultimate available for them when they go for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, hostile takeover is going to be a game changer in a lot of these situations. So you got to look at the angle that Missing's going to want to use. But the thing is, if you find a big cash out for Xiaohao, that makes the difference. And that's what I love going into this second game, is that we have a lot of options for both teams to play around.
No. They were trying to clear vision. I love how Xiaohao was playing in Fog of War, trying to not get spotted, crossing through mid, but it's just that one sneaky ward that Zorah does not find, does not spot and clear. That allows for JDG to know that they are on the bottom side of the map. So what does Kanavi do? Finishing off his blue buff, he has a couple of options. Could go towards that top side and say, we're going to forego the dragon. It is in 2 minutes, so there is an option for them to do that. But it seems like both of these teams really want to index onto the bottom side of the map, make sure that they get that dragon stacking for themselves. And as soon as I say that,
yep, Xiaohao
wonderful.
should start this one up here, be able to trade this side of the map, as they have first move from Harder out there. And a little bit of presence from bottom lane from Zorah. Kanavi's actually making a cross cut across the map. Go to this mid lane. Has the cease and desist, and Harder gets knocked back. Here comes the lockdown. It's a bait. It's a bait under tower. Gonna flash out of the charm. If he didn't, he was dead.
The entire time this is happening, thanks to ZDZ controlling the top side, Xiaohao gets the Rift Herald. So JDG unable to get much during all of this. And I love that Zorah has just completed the back in front of him. They're going to take control of this bottom side. Dragon spawning in a minute here. Let's see what JDG can do with this vision. And now anyone's legend with the Rift Herald in on Xiaohao. Can they just trade? Go for some turret plates. Get some gold onto specifically Harder, who now on this Ahri has a small advantage overnight.
We also got those item completions here. Zorah is going right for it. They're keeping on the back. This is the decisiveness. That one AL, game number 1. Zhiqiuyi is on the side. You got TPs everywhere. Chaos has erupted on the Rift, and it's AL taking advantage of it every step of the way. 2-0 now in this first game. That's a flash from Missing. 369 is going to flash too. Take them all, because JDG are routed so far in the pressure game of this game number 2.
That could have been very easily 2 kills there, but 369 with the Bellows Breath saves another kill. Anyone's legends here are now very firmly kind of dictating the pace of this game to JDG, who respond to that play by grabbing the teleport out from 369. And we're going to go again, Mazel. We're going to be missing some ultimates. This is not anyone Legends' time to make this play. JDG have all their ultimates available to them, minus the hostile takeover. This should be the dragon in favor of them. But man, they got an extra kill. Xiaohao is 2 kills up and has that bounty. Now they're going to grab this Rift Herald, take it on top lane, and get Harder even further ahead.
Try to get as much in the wake of this dragon going to JDG. That is 2 dragons for JDG. And that does mean their stacking potential is there. Knight has just TP'd to potentially his doom as Xiaohao comes around. Knight's realization has hit, but everything misses from AL. And now you got Knight turning around with 369 coming up here.
Wow, insane stuff. Good job from Knight to dodge out on those skills, including the flash there, because that would have meant a kill going over, at the very least, not that turret. Kanavi now making his way over. You even see Zorah starting to put down vision. This entire top side for JDG is lit up like a Christmas tree in favor of anyone's legends. And it's going to be turret plates going over to the mid-jungle here.
Not able to get that last one there. Just one auto attack needed. The Rift Herald play did actually find a bit of success, but it's still JDG right on the heels of AL.
Oh, and I just love how fast they pull this. Zorah with 0 hesitation finds this pick. Just means it's a kill onto Kanavi, and Xiaohao is going to continue to have that gold lead, which they need to. Remember, they need to be making plays, otherwise this game goes long, and they're going to be staring down the barrel of a massively huge scaling teamfight composition from JDG.
Yeah, the scaling don't stop until JDG win the game. And they do have some item completions coming up for them, but specifically, again, that 2 dragon lead is big. That just means that AL are going to have to be a little bit more wary on how they approach the next objective fights. And there's some defensive posturing coming out from JDG, actually a crown first item for Knight.
He knows that first punch is going to have to be huge, but will lack a little bit on that damage. So when we're looking at this team, we wanted it to be a double threat composition here, where you have Knight and Ruler able to dish out damage and find kills, but now we'll be lacking a little bit in favor of survivability versus them, especially with how this early game has gone. Can't hate it. Can't be too mad about it considering what happened tonight so often, and it's gonna happen again. Xiaohao wants to make this play happen, but Kanavi is on his way. Knight just needs to survive, and on this next wave, maybe anyone's Legends could find something.
Will be spotted out by that ward clearing there from Xiaohao, but it's just a momentary wait for anyone's Legend as Kanavi was coming up this way as well. You see Ruler sitting fine and dandy there, most gold in the game so far.
He's been juicing that coal. He's been making good on it, and now they're using this ability. Hey, we're not gonna make that play around top lane. Let's just go through mid, get some turret damage for ourselves. Anyone's Legends, I think, are playing very, very well. It's really hard to take away from them the fact of how well they played these two early games. It's just a matter of, can they accelerate the game enough to be able to find this win? And now ZDZ's looking for that solo kill. No flash on 369.
He is, but you know, the wet noodle fight continues. Even though the noodles are starting to get a little sharpened, they are still noodles in their own right. Harder though, wanting to find a little bit of a replay action here, as Charm not gonna be available, had just used it, so not gonna find that connection from the trio of AL top.
Still, that is a flash out from Kanavi. 40 before this dragon, you will take that as a way to stop them from getting on top of Harder, which you're not Zaya. She's just going to use the ultimate, right? So get on top of this Ahri. Maybe you're able to make something happen. Get onto the Lee Sin as well. No flash on him makes him an easy target for anyone's Legends moving forward onto this objective. Finally, they're going to break this top tier 1. As Knight just has to say, I don't have any vision up here. We've tried to clear it as much as we can, but there's only so much I can do. We've been focused on trying to protect mid lane, protect around the actual geographic mid lane. We got to do something. We got to be able to move our vision now. Oh, Dragon.
What a world we're in, though, Alk, where we are seeing a heavily contested best-of-3 by AL against defending MSI champions JDG, who are themselves on a 5-win streak after losing their first series in the split. And it's just the way that Game 1 went, the way that Game 2 is going, you can't count anyone's Legend out.
And this is one of the... You know, when we're talking about the schedule for AL, this is not a win that they are supposed to get. By expectations alone, they're supposed to lose this game. They're supposed to lose to they were supposed to lose to BLG, but if you're able to pick that up, that's a really good chance at potentially boosting yourself up in the standings. It's still a long ways to go before you're able to make top 10 to make playoffs, but finding a win against JDG, and in the fashion that they're doing it, means that this team could be a lot scarier than maybe Jewel or maybe their standings really kind of give away.
Now we're approaching that next fight carousel here as both objectives up on the table. AL trying to move in through mid lane. They go for an engage. Harder will actually connect on to Kanavi. Kanavi's locked down, but that Everfrost not going to be followed up by
Huge
the Scatter of the Week has already been used. You got Chakram starting to stack for Ruler. It's zhiqiuyi versus Ruler in a lot of these situations, and who else gets caught out first? Vault Breaker is charged up but can't be loosed, and we see push from JDG into the mid lane.
They have complete control right now. AL are fighting from the river, while Ulyss right now, I mean, Ruler is just controlling this mid lane, so they should be able to bully their way through the river. ZDZ getting right up into the face of JDG.
Titans. You got to be careful for that knockback swing, as JDG will move into the Dragon Pit here. Getting a reset from ZDZ. He has TP. They just put down a bunch of wards, but you got to get that back off quick. You got to get back into the pit because about 5,000 health. Xiaohao's on the side. He wants Ruler. He is looking for one target, and one target in specific. They
found him.
The knockup. The hostile takeover back, though. Ruler's still alive, and you better not miss if you're going to come at the king. ZDZ goes down, and JDG get the dragon. That's huge, as the pick-up part selection was not there for anyone's Legend.
Dude, this missing, Renata Glass is so perfect for this composition. We talked about how important that ultimate was going to be. The bailout here for Ruler. Every single ability had landed onto the Aphelios, but it is just one kill that goes over. Zorah is just going to have to sit there. Kanavi gets his kill credit with this. The dragon goes over to JDG. And just how we had thought in game one, we were waiting for JDG to turn the corner that they never ended up doing. Now here in game two, they do it with a fantastic team fight.
They turned the corner, went back around, took the corner again here as the big kick doesn't actually get the combo they needed. And as you said, that hostile takeover, a big difference maker. Nobody could follow up anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really tough fight. The angle was good for Harder and but JDG, their front line, this Syndra, this Vi, the Ornn were standing in front of zhiqiuyi, and there's all your damage. Unable to actually find that kill onto Ruler. Turns into 3, turns into the Dragon for JDG, and we're right back to where we expected coming into this series. JDG now with a gold lead. JDG now expected to win with that Dragon Soul coming up in 3 minutes. AL with their backs against the wall after an amazing early game.
This is exactly where we would have expected JDG to turn that corner, though. They start getting into the later parts with a composition that's so stable like this. You had to have had a big lead, and we saw that in game number 1. We just haven't seen that in game 2. I think that's the difference maker here. We do have Baron coming up, a lot of decision-making power again in the hands of JDG this time around.
It looks like they really want to try and fight for this mid turret. Not quite going down. Nine in a really precarious position. Just has to flash. Yep. Just can't be there, brother. Like, that's okay. Not having flash on Syndra sucks, and we'll see if they're able to punish this. 369 is looking for a flank, but just jumps over the wall. And we're just going to be positioning for the time being. We're just going to be posturing around mid lane until... because there's not really many side laners from the side of JDG. Now with Knight not having flash, that is going to be a very scary prospect going up against an Ahri. 2.5 minutes, man. This is going to be such a tense 2.5 minutes. A single pick could very easily turn into the Baron.
You just really need some item spikes to start coming online for AL, and it just doesn't feel like they're going to get to that point before that next big fight. There is also just constant pressure from JDG because they don't want to give you the opportunity to try to scoop up that gold and get back on the map. But AL might be looking for something here. Xiaohao on the side. That knockback, though, from Knight. Huge stuff in a bit of a trendsetter here. 369 will need some help. He gets kicked back, and he's tanky. He does flash over the wall. Makes it out alive.
All right, no flash coming out from 369. Flash on Ornn is not super impactful or super going to be, you know, like game breaking, but definitely important if they are going to try and find this kill. Now, Harder, I was very worried. The vision toggle there told me that Knight was going to be throwing a scatter of the week and potentially be looking for something, but Anyone's Legends, they simply kind of just get a little bit of chip damage. They get that summoner out from 369. Harder's going to push out this top wave. CDZ is going to catch the bottom lane. Minute and a half before the Dragon Soul here for JDG if they can secure this. Looking at Xiaohao, who has been the early game driver for this team, the player to watch for Anyone's Legends in the early game to get the finish line, transfer that lead over to some of his lanes. And he needs to have that smite. That smite needs to be perfect if he wants to keep Anyone's Legends in this game.
Need some pinpoint precision here as Ruler does get his back off. That'll be a nice little bit of a reset coming in before this fight. And the big thing is zhiqiuyi has not completed a second item. And there are big item differentials starting to come online just in this little minute moment. Even with not a big gold differential, it is a difference.
Wow. I mean, yeah, you say it's not like amazing, but like that is pretty huge. There's a frame and a half here for Ruler.
2K.
Yeah, he is 2,000 gold. And that's it. I mean, that's 20 or 30 CS, a full kill, and a hell of a lot of plates. Like, that is putting in work. The CS doesn't necessarily tell the story of the game here for how far it is right now. And they're just looking so much damage onto zhiqiuyi right there.
That's a Feather Storm already gone. That's your defensive tool of not available any longer. And that was just from the poke of JDG.
Oh, Harder
looking to engage onto, can't find it. And JDG looking for Xiaohao, knowing he's been gone for a long time. He must be here. And they do find him out. They're trying to catch him on the backside, but AL trying to save his life here. He does flash out from that engage. He's buying a lot of time, but the scat of the week comes through. Cease and desist, locking him down. Harder's getting locked down on the other side. And there's the double knockup. Kanavi goes down. AL, they want to try to pounce out a Ruler. Again, they can't get him here. Nobody can really find him except for ZDZ, and ZDZ is just gone.
Oh my God. Like, the fact that they're able to sense that Xiaohao is obviously in there. He went for the flank last game. Here, they're going to be able to start up this dragon here. I love that Ruler is not moving over. He can just walk towards this Baron, use the Calibrum to scout if maybe anyone's legend were going to go for it. But that's the sole point here, Lennon. And man, it's just slipping away ever so quickly from anyone's. As we get right into the replay, I mean, oh, he was on ward. No!
Oh! Well, you know what? It happens. He's like, oh no, I've been found out.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen anyone's legends actually go to start up this dragon, because there's no way you're going to win the fight afterwards, right? They're committing so many members to this side. They were trying to find this pick onto Ruler, and maybe that's some of that greed that they were talking about in the interview, right? We saw them, they're saying, we don't need to be greedy for waves. We need to be playing macro-oriented more around our team. That right there could be a pretty huge blunder that they'll look back in review and say, yeah, we probably should have just taken the dragon right there and called it our, cut our losses.
And now with JDG in a very strong lead with an Infernal Soul under them and a Baron available to them, they are just going to keep pressing until they need to force the hand of AL, which looks like they want to do very, very soon.
Yeah, of course. If you're in the team in the lead, you should cause the opponents to have to make options. They have to make forced errors here. And by corralling around the Baron, getting rid of all this vision, it is more and more important for the side of JDG. They put anyone's legends into uncomfortable positions here. As now they're feigning, they're going right back over. Vision getting toggled now. Anyone's legends, let's see what you do. Are you just going to get your objective bounty and go for mid? Looking to contest.
See the Baron already getting pretty low. AL do know that it's going on. The quickness will be there, available. They want to try to get a big engage on the back of a JDG. Feeling a bit hesitant. Do let the Baron reset, and 369 gets a flank.
We're playing on the opposite sides of the map
by
here.
yourself. Just have to burn that Spirit Rush. Still has his flash available, though. Has that smite if they want to go for the double smite combo. Okay. JDG just pushing into Xiaohao. Might catch him out. He does be able to move out. And JDG going for the engage. Hit Xiaohao. Multi-lockdown. Xiaohao has no life left.
Okay. No jungler here for the side of anyone's legends. Means that this Baron is a foregone conclusion. A team fight miracle for the side of anyone's legends. If they're going to be able to pull this one out from underneath JDG.
Gotta try to get harder in there with that smite.
Yeah, I guess so. He's got that smite. It's the same as Kanavi for thanks to the levels. And no teleports available for the solo lanes here. Harder just trying to get in, but 9 and 369 are not letting it.
They're catching out 369 here. There's a hostile takeover around the back, though. 4,000 health on the Baron won't be the focus right now from everyone of JDG. As Ruler's trying to look for zhiqiuyi. Ruler over the side, though. He can't go down. Harder doesn't have the combo. He doesn't have it. A double kill for Ruler.
There it is. JDG. They're going to take the Dragon Soul that we saw earlier. They're going to grab the Baron. They're going to win the team fight. And Lennon, it is more than likely we are going to a Game 3 here between anyone and JDG.
So much hope, so much promise in Game 1 for AL. And JDG have woken up. They've got the comp that works, but it's also the execution on the board.
That pick onto Xiaohao means that it is so golden. Good job between 369 and Knight. They know their jobs. They know, hey, the early laning phase for Knight, not fantastic, but man, Ruler wanting, this is one of his specialties that we've seen all this year is, hey, if we're playing a split fight on some different fronts, I'm going to challenge the enemy AD carry to fight me, because I know that if they're uncomfortable, I'm in my zone. They're going to have to make probably some bad decisions, make some not optimal decisions, outplay the opponent.
He does so much damage. Like, one auto attack was doing so much. That's the upgrade coming through that came in before the fight, but also that 2.5 item spike. Now he has 3 items, and they're just knocking on the front door of AL saying, will you be able to answer us?
Plus, they have the Infernal Drake, so all that damage that they're building is just turning into less and less likelihood.
Oh!
Wow.
Zorah. Missing, I thought, was on the other team. Zorah's missing now.
True.
As Kanavi overextending a little bit here, does get all outed back. A big shutdown gold goes to ZDZ, but the base is in tatters. The mid lane is burst open, and JDG with Baron minions for another minute and 30 seconds can look to end the game here. Xiaohao's back. Xiaohao's locked down, and Xiaohao goes golden. See if they follow it up, though, with a hostile takeover, and it's Ruler every time. At 4-0 here in game number 2. He's looking to put some more here. Ruler's going for it. Ruler wants to take harder down, and he's in the base of AL. He's going to get lasered. He goes down. Ruler's not alive, and JDG, they're scrounging.
Wait, are they going to play around their solo laners here now? Knight and 369 alive versus
Knight's still
Legends.
so big. Knight's still so big. Oh, the unstoppable, the block actually for ZDZ. Okay, it didn't matter.
Okay, well.
Knight ends up killing him anyways. And now it feels like a bit of an ARAM as we're just waiting for this Nexus to fall. JDG want the minions to end as they take one by one AL's life, and they take game number 2.
What an incredible win there. It felt more like the JDG we have come to know and love this year, as